This is part five. Um, so in part four, I kind of talked about the crazy club days, being introduced to cocaine, swearing off cocaine, and then being introduced to Oxycontins, like the king of all painkillers, which was a lot worse than cocaine. It was a lot more expensive as well. But so MJ, Barbarella, introduced me to Oxycontins, and that was my new drug of choice. And I spent a shitload of money um, paying top dollar street price for Oxycontins. Um, so I got in my mind, the genius that I am, that I need to buy them in bulk. I need to find somebody that has a whole shitload of them and haggle with them so I can get them for a better price. And of course, MJ, who seemed to have an answer for every one of my questions, knew a guy that could get a whole shitload of them for a price. And so I went to the ATM like I always did when I needed money, and I borrowed a whole bunch of money against my credit card. And by this point, I had almost maxed out all of my credit cards. So I pulled out a whole bunch of money. I bought a couple of hundred Oxycontin 80 milligram pills, which usually cost anywhere between 65 and 80 bucks. And so I got them much, much cheaper. And I figured, well, hey, I can start selling these and I can have a perpetual habit. I can buy them for cheap, sell them for expensive, and I can just keep doing them forever and make money. I'm a fucking moron, I know. But that's what I thought I could do. And so that's what I did. And I started attracting the fucking craziest people to my apartment at all hours of the day and night. Fucking, I had a guy show up, throwing rocks, little rocks at my window in the middle of the night because he wanted to buy a little bump of Oxy from me. And he had like $6, a left shoe, and a t-shirt. So fucking people were coming out of the woodwork, and showing up at my apartment. And people wanted to hang out with me again. All of a sudden, I had this big group of people that were always hanging out with me because, the dude with the drugs, you hang out with him long enough, you're probably going to get some free shit. And if I had a nickel for every pair of titties I saw, I'd have a few dollars. Because when chicks couldn't afford a little bit, it was always like, hey, you want to see my tits for a little bump? And I'm a guy and I have a penis, so I wasn't gonna turn down the opportunity to see some titties. So obviously, I was attracting not exactly the best crowd to my apartment, and I ended up giving away more shit than I was like actually making money off of. So that didn't last very long. I mean, hey, it was a valiant effort on my part. At least I didn't get my dumbass arrested or robbed or beat up or killed in the process of my attempt at dealing drugs. And for most people, it was probably easier just to hang out with me for a little while, wait for me to get my pills out, and then ask for some than it would be to go through the effort of beating my ass down or uh, robbing me. So at least it was that, right? And I made all these new friends. Actually, no, they, as soon as the shit ran out and I ran out of money, they disappeared as well. You would think I would have learned my lesson from the whole cocaine business. The pill business wasn't any different. As soon as the shit ran out, so did the people, except one. One person stuck around after everybody else had gone, and it was Barbarella, which was really weird to me. Let's see, how can I put this? She looked like a Barbie doll. Blonde hair, blue eyes, big fake tits. And, I'm not selling myself short here. I knew who I was and what I was, and I was a fucking nerd. Um, so why she was coming around my apartment when there was really nothing for her to gain was beyond me. She would come over, we'd play some Nintendo, we would hang out, and if we could scrape together enough money, we'd go buy an Oxy or two, and that's how things went for a while. She was just always at my apartment, and we were always just hanging out. And I guess you could call this the calm before the storm, before the shit really hit the fan. Things were actually somewhat uneventful for um, a month, 2 months, and I felt like I was finally starting to put my life back together and live a normal life. I started looking for a job and um, I started doing normal things again, like hang out with my old friends, and life was okay for a minute, right before the wheels fell off and my fucking life imploded on itself due to me being a complete fucking idiot and the extremely poor choices that I made, and just being overall naive to how the world works. And I tried to hold it all together as best I could, but you might as well try to hold water in your hands because it was impossible. But that's this is where I'm gonna leave it for now. I feel like this is a good place to stop before I start the next part. So, next up, part 6.